Oh, hey. No. Sorry I haven't been answering my text. I just been kind of sitting here thinking, and so much to think about, you know? I'm fine, really. You don't need to. Thank you for the hug. I mean, it really does mean a lot, you know? Yeah. Some cuddles would be nice. As friends, right? Cool. I'll just go right here. I hope it didn't sound too weird, creepy, but have you been using a new shampoo? Yeah, I can tell. What I've been thinking about, kind of a lot, honestly. But I don't know if you really want to hear all that, you know? Really? Okay. It's kind of a lot, so let me get to it. Okay, so lately I've been thinking about my place in the whole grand scheme of the universe. Like, okay, when I was a kid, I was never really anyone's first option. I was always last when it came to be picked on teams. I was never the first person any relative mentioned. And as friends that I made, the few friends I did have, I wasn't exactly their first option either. Like, I was the friend you hung out with when none of their friends were available. And just kind of made me feel like an outcast, you know? And, I figured I had to be good at something. Something useful that anyone would want me around. And that's where school really fell in place for me. The one way that people garnered attention, any sort of recognition in a positive light towards me, were my studies. I really applied myself and studied hard even when doctors would say that I was borderline autistic. And I, in those moments, I felt so discouraged. Like, nothing I had in my skill list or, qualities I had nothing really that good. Not even just one really good excelling stat. So it felt like I was kind of a bad batch to begin with. But nonetheless, I still applied myself in my studies and Yeah, sure enough, after a while, I finally begun getting grades that everyone was boggled by. And, so much so that people started asking me for help on their problems. And some people actually wanted to learn, and some people just wanted the answer. And people who just wanted the answer, I wouldn't give it to them. I understand that that would make me likable towards them, but I also didn't just bust my butt just so you could get it and write it down without any understanding of how or why that works. It just wasn't what I was going to do. So, fast forward. I have my associate's degree, and me making it this far, my relatives, they all start talking about me again. I have become the star of the spotlight as someone they now believe can actually go to college and finish it through a bachelor's degree. So, everyone started to believe in me, and people wanted me around more than ever. They wanted me to be a shining symbol of not what we were, but what could be. And I did go to college, and as I continued to get into it, it became more complex and more in depth, and in all honesty, I hated it. I hated it so much. It felt like every time I felt like I was finally smarter, I would immediately get humbled and shut down that I wasn't anything special. It was infuriating because all my life I've worked so hard so that somebody, anybody would want me around. And now I wasn't the smartest kid anymore. So, what do I do now? I thought to myself. I hate what I do. I'm not very good at it. I should just give up. But I couldn't. Not because, of course, everyone always says you should go to college and better your education so you can get a better job and make more money and do this and that. And that's not to say that college doesn't do that. I think it does, but what good is any of that if I don't love what I'm doing, you know? And that's where I was. I realized then that my own purpose wasn't clear. All my life, I'd always done what everyone else wanted me to do so that I may have praise and feel wanted. Being particular about my image so that somebody would want me around. But now, if I am to follow the beat of my own drum, nobody's gonna want me anymore. And that idea, it broke me. How can I keep going when all I want is just someone, anyone, be their number one option. And you know, my mom was a very big supporter for me. Even when most people, they would try to be discreet about it, but I would hear and I would listen. They believed that I wouldn't amount to anything, that I was just a disappointment. My mom believed I could do so much more than what anyone else believed. And at first, I didn't believe her. But she would encourage me, and she may not have been the sharpest tool, but she was a sturdy one. And the day that I lost her, I didn't know how to keep going. Because all my life, she never asked for anything. But when she saw how far I got, she knew I could do it. She knew I could. And that's what she asked, that I finish what I started. That's all she ever asked for. Whether she's here or not, to see me finish things through to the end. Because a promise is a promise. And I will always keep my word until the end. So, that's what's fueling me for now. But as I begin to think about the future, I know I shouldn't worry about all of it, but, you know, once I finish school, what do I do for myself now? Once I fulfill my mother's promise, I didn't know what I wanted. But as I thought long and hard about it, I realized the things that I wanted weren't nearly as complex, at least on a base level of what I wanted. In my mind, I envisioned that, you know, I'd find a lovely woman on campus. Maybe she'd be, well, personality-wise, I envisioned her as a bold person, but, you know, kind might also be nice. And not necessarily that it has to be one or the other or this or that, but, you know, just plays well off of me, I guess. And I'm not just saying this because you're here or whatever, but, you know, my friends, they often ask, like, oh, what kind of girls you into? And they say this and this about hair color or size or whatever. And, you know, really, it's not just because you're here, but, like, I really don't care. Like, she can be super short. She can be super tall. she can be part of the itty bitty committee, or, as big as they come, you know? But none of that matters nearly as much to me. Because I just want someone to love, someone to care for, someone I can cry on someone's shoulder and, be their rock and everything. After all, relationships take two, and then maybe some kids, I mean, not that it's really up to me or whatever, like, it's kind of up to whatever, but, I mean, chance, whatever you call it, but I envisioned, like, 2 kids, one a boy, one a girl, and I was never really set on a boy name, because in my brain, I figured the mom or the wife, she'd have ideas, but I feel like my daughter's name would be Kana. Like, that's how I envision it anyway. Her name would be Kana, And partially because, I had my name, and, my name was fine. I don't necessarily hate it, but man, people do not spell it right. So I figured, might as well just, give them a simple name that no one would screw up. But then again, well, it might not be too bad though. Because, like, with my name, they, like, straight up butcher, like, they, like, put letters that aren't even there, and then, it's kind of a mess, and it doesn't help that it's long, too, so people mess it up. And I'm sure they'll probably mess up her name, too, but, like, it won't be, like, super ridiculous. Like, I can imagine maybe they, like, spell it, like, Kanna. Maybe they're little kids and they spell it with, like, a C, which I don't think would happen once they're adults or whatever, but, I mean, it could happen, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I know we're just, like, friends or whatever, and I appreciate that, you take the time to listen to me and just hear me out on all that I think about, because, that's another thing I often think about, like, as a human, right? I feel like by nature, we are often have this feeling like we want to interact with humans, and like, but then part of me is like, you don't want to just butt in, because then it's like, if you're talking way too much, it's like, are you being too annoying? But then, like, if you don't talk at all, is it like, are you too boring that no one wants to talk to you, And that's just something I think about a lot, because then I'm like, I don't want to sound like, no one asked, but yada, yada, yada. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't know. But I guess it's kind of how I've always played my life. If there's anything that my childhood really taught me from being an outcast, it was to keep your mouth shut and play your cards close. Because there are so many people who are willing to take advantage of you, betray you, just so that they can get what they want. And I don't know. I never really was a big advocate for violence. Not necessarily because, I couldn't, but what good does violence do? I've seen it firsthand. Violence only works for so long until somebody gets sick of it. And then everyone throws a rebellion and overthrows basically the person trying to rule with violence. It's happened so many times in historic history. You try and rule with an iron fist, it's not going to work. So I always try to be cooperative and understanding, and I don't know. I feel like, and I guess it sounds a little narcissistic when I think about it, but it feels like the world doesn't acknowledge nearly all the good players in it as much as it is like people getting upset at those who aren't playing it very good. Like, they're actively making bad decisions on purpose, you know? I don't know. I don't really want to gloat either about, like, oh, better than so and so, because, I mean, it's just unnecessary. And in reality, we shouldn't be poking each other for who's better or who's not. Because if I did, I'd be the very thing that I swore to get rid of, you know? And it's just not who I want to be. But seriously, you're an amazing friend, and most people they'd hear my story about a quarter of the way in, hell, maybe even a third in, and they wouldn't want to listen anymore. And they just be like, damn, that's crazy. And just, they wouldn't care. But you do. And I gotta ask, just because, I don't know, I guess, even though I don't feel it, I feel like it'd be kind of stupid if I never asked, but do you like me? Like, I know all I did right now was just complain and feel down like a little loser, but just as a friend. Yeah, no. Don't feel bad. Okay, look. This isn't like, do you like me? Oh no, I just see you as a friend. And what? Huh, me like you? That's so silly. Huh, imagine that. Like, seriously, this isn't a confession. It isn't, you know? I just wanted to make sure because, I don't know. I feel like I just had a feeling like it was one of those moments where if you did, right, that, I just would have never known. And then, I don't know, would have missed an opportunity, I guess. But I genuinely don't mind just being your friend, you know? But what was I gonna say? I guess, and I know it's gonna sound confusing, this next bit, when I say it, because it's gonna be like, No, you totally liked me, but it's not at all what I'm going for. It's just, I hope one day I can find someone as attentive, understanding, and patient, because as you are, because I know I'm not exactly the easiest to get along with, but, I do my best to cooperate and, tend to others' needs. But thank you for listening to me and, giving me these cuddles. I don't know what I would have done without you all these years. Yeah. Friends forever. Hey, could you stay the night? Just, I don't know. Guess I'm feeling a little more alone, but I know you're still here. I just stay the night and I can make us breakfast tomorrow. No, I look, you know, okay, look, I know I just said all this crap about us being friends, and you don't really see me that way. And by all means, I'm not offended, I'm not hurt, nothing. Okay, I'm feeling lonely. And I want you to stay the night. And I guess, well, I keep wording it that way, so I'm not exactly surprised that you think that way, that I do have feelings for you. It's complicated. Look, you're my friend, but to me, you're more than just my friend. Because I've told you crap that I don't tell anyone. So I trust you so much. And that means, as a friend, you're really special to me. And that's kind of why I keep wording it that way and I get nervous. But if you don't feel that way about me, then I don't. It's nothing of ill will or anything either. Because, that's kind of how we've always been. Where it's like, if I'm down, you're down, sort of thing. But actually, it's if you're down, then I'm down, sort of scenario. So that's really all I was getting at. If you liked me, then I was down to start something. But if you're not, then that's not something I want to put myself in a delusional spin for. Because I'd rather keep you as a friend than lose you to some pointless pipe dream. That's how I feel anyway. But I don't want you to feel bad. I want you to be honest. And I'll accept whatever honest answer that you feel. We're just friends. Alright. Friends it is then. I'm sorry, I've already taken up so much time and I didn't even ask you how your day was or whatever. And I feel sleepy, but I'd like to keep this conversation going, but it's just, this won't work, So I think it'd probably be best if we went to sleep now, and tomorrow, if there's anything you need to talk about, any needs you need taken care of, whatever, that I'll be there to focus and care about you all day tomorrow. How's that sound? Cool. Good night.